Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio, and today is week 7 of the Stash Buster block series. And today the block we're going to do is called 4H. And the reason it's called that, as you can see here, is that the sections make the letter H. So they're just kind of turned in different directions. And in this block here, in this sample, I've used 2 different colors with a white background. And in this sample here, I made all one color with the background. So you see the design kind of got lost in this one, so I redid it and used 2 different colors. So if you'd like, when you make this block, use 4 different colors, and you can have a really pretty block here with each unit being a different color. So I'm going to adjust the camera and show you what fabrics you need to make this block. I'm going to show you the fabrics that you need to make the 2 colorway block, where you have 2 different focus fabrics in here, like this one. So what you need is, they're just rectangles and squares, so you're going to need 4 2.5 by 6.5 inch rectangles of one main color. And then you'll need 4 of your second color, the same size, the 2.5 by 6.5. And then along with that, you're going to need 2 2.5 inch squares of each color. So I have the darker blue and the lighter blue, 2 2.5 inch squares. And then for your background, you need 8 2.5 inch squares. So I'm going to lay all of these pieces out on my work surface here, and then we'll put the pieces together. This makes a 12-inch block, so this is a pretty good size block, as I'm sure you could see in the sample there. But we're going to just make H's with each one of these units. So we've got the rectangle with a square in the middle, and then another rectangle on the side. And then these 2 places are going to have the white squares. And then on this unit over here, we're going to turn it sideways. So we're going to have this look here. And so 3 2.5 inch squares, and then another rectangle. Now these are batiks that I'm using, but this batik looks like it has a right and a wrong side, so I'm going to use that, and I'm going to take that into consideration and turn my fabrics if I need to. Here we go. Now this piece I can't tell. So, and then we have the last one. And I have this big old band-aid on my thumb because my skin is dry and my fingers are splitting on the right on the edge of my nail, and it's wanting to bleed on the fabric. So here we go. We have everything laid out. There we go. Everything's laid out. And I'm going to start by putting the middle sections together first. And I have my 1/4 inch piecing foot on. I have my stitch length set to 2.5. And the thread I'm using is 100% cotton, but you can use an all-purpose thread, or you can use a polyester thread. This is a normal 40 weight thread, but you can use a 60 weight if you have that, a piecing thread. That would give you more accuracy if you do have that. Now you can chain piece these sections together if you like to do that. I tend to do that on rare occasions, but not in every situation, because I find I've underestimated the number of pieces I need, or overestimated, or sew them in the wrong orientation, and this is just a small block. If I was doing, well, it's not a small block, this is just one block. If I was doing multiple blocks of the same design, then I would probably chain piece them. So here is the look that we have so far. That is the center of that block. So I'm going to put that back where it belongs and then work on the next one. And here's the center of the second block. And so there we have that one. And I'll do the other light blue one. I think this block would really look cute in a kid's room if you had a child whose name started with the letter H and did it in primary colors. Or in novelty prints or something. I think that'd be really cute. Now I'm going to press all of these. Now to press these, what I'm going to do is to press towards the dark fabric. None of these seams are going to line up with another seam. They're all going to line up with a straight section, so it doesn't, you don't have to worry about that. So just lay it so your dark side is up and press, and then open it, and the seam will press that direction, and then flip it over to the other side and do the same thing. And then I'm just going to lay that right back there, and I'm going to do the same with this one. I need to get myself some room so my iron can get in there. There we go. Okay, now the next step is to put these units together, and to do that I'm just going to fold over the piece, and then I'm going to stitch down this seam, and then I will stitch this side to that, and then I'll go over to the next block. Now the only thing you have to watch for when I'm stitching these together is to make sure that my seams don't flip while I'm sewing them. So I'm going to stitch these with the seams on the top. So the center piece will go on the top, and that way I can watch that. Now this first seam is already facing towards me, which that'll slide underneath the presser foot just fine. This is the one that as the presser foot comes, it's going to want to push it that direction, which I don't want it to do, so I'll have to watch that. And that's what it's doing right now, so just raise the presser foot. So I just raise the presser foot and let that lay down, and then keep going. Okay, got that side done, and then I'll add the other rectangle. So that's what that looks like so far, and then I'll add this piece. And I'm going to put my center section on the top so I can watch those seams again. Okay, so here is the H block, or the H unit, and I'm just going to put this back on my pressing surface, and then I'm going to work on the next unit, which is the light blue. Okay, I have all the units sewn together, and now I just need to press them. So what I'm going to do is, because of these center sections have the seams going across the fabric, these pieces are just going to want to flop over. The seam is not going to want to go this direction. It's going to want to go that direction. So I'm just going to let it do that. And so I'm just going to press the seam and then just press it open. And this is just a dry iron. So we got one done. Do one more. Okay, now I'm going to lay the pieces back out. So I have this H facing me, this one is on its side, this one will be on its side, and then this one will face me. So I just need to do stitch these two together and these two together, and then these two sections will be stitched together. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then once again, I don't have any seams to match or points to consider, so I just have to watch the seam and make sure it doesn't flip. And even if it does, that isn't the end of the world. It can be fixed, or you could just leave it the way it is and just deal with it. That's always an option. Okay, I'm just going to lay this one back out on the ironing surface. So we have that done. Lay that out and then do this section here. And now it's time to press again. Okay, now when I press these sections, I'm going to press towards the dark, and that's because there are no seams in this one, and that is just the way it is going to want to lay anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, because it'll give me a plus on both sides as far as pressing towards the dark fabric, and then I'm not having to fight those seams there. So that serves two purposes. Okay, now I've got 2 rows, and I just need to sew these 2 rows together. So now I do have to match seam, so I'm just going to butt these seams up against each other. Right here, those seams will meet right there, and then I'll sew that seam down and the block will be done. Now since this is a 12-inch block, that's quite a space. There's quite a bit of space there to handle and keep that seam from shifting. So I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in there just to keep it from shifting around. And then I'm going to sew my 1/4-inch seam. I've got the seams underneath that I'm keeping an eye on, making sure they don't flip on me. And they are laying flat. Okay, now let's see what we have. There we go. Got a good meeting right there of all those seams. Okay, it doesn't matter which way this seam is pressed. So I'm just gonna roll it on up like this. And there we go. Here is the 4H block. So here we go, there's our finished block. I think it turned out pretty nice. And I hope you try this block out and let me know what you think about it. I hope you've been able to try a couple of these patterns and used up some of your scraps, and I thank you for joining me today, and I hope you will join me again next week. And if you like this video, I hope you will click the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and click that notification bell so that you'll be notified when the next video comes up. I'm posting twice a week, and you'll have a quilting video on Tuesday and a piecing video on Friday. So, and also share this video with your quilting friends. So I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links. And to keep up with my newest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.